Ash has a lot of Pokemon, ranging from dragons, aquatic creatures, giant lizards, and, whatever Dracovish is supposed to be. If not for these guys, Ash would have never climbed his way to the top of 7 different regions and eventually make it all the way to World Champion. Throughout his journey, Ash has owned a whopping 105 Pokemon. Like, that's a big ass number! But out of his insane arsenal, what Pokemon stand out the most to form what Ash's best team would be? Well, today, I'll be covering exactly that. Now, I'm going to be laying a few ground rules. First of all, I'm limiting myself to only 2 starter Pokemon. This is simply because Ash's starters tend to be his aces, and if I were to include all of them, this video wouldn't be nearly as interesting. So yeah, I'm limiting myself to just 2 starter Pokemon. Second, no primary type repeats. This means that if one of Ash's Pokemon is a fire Pokemon that primarily uses fire type moves, I can't use another Pokemon who does exactly that. Take Oshawott and Corphish for example. Both of those have the same type and really only use water moves. However, if the 2 Pokemon on this list share a type but don't use the same type of attacks as their majority, that's fair game. Finally, Pikachu is already obviously on the list. This dude has been with Ash through thick and thin, not to mention the G-Max advantage and the utilization of the 10 million volt Thunderbolt. This little dude hits hard, has fought several legendaries, and is an undoubted member of this team. But I won't be including him in the list today, just so we can cover as many Pokemon as possible. So Pikachu is there, but the 6th Pokemon that's replacing him on the list can be seen as a substitute or honorable mention. And that title goes to Ash's Crocodile. Now, it took a little while for this guy to join Ash's team, but once he did, he absolutely stole the show. Not only does this mon hit hard, but he's taken on and defeated Iris's Dragonite. Now granted, at the time it wasn't a champion level Pokemon, but its raw power was still there. Crocodile also has a great moveset with Crunch, Dragon Claw, Stone Edge, and Aerial Ace. Not a single ground type attack and yet all fantastic moves. Even people who don't enjoy Black and White love this Pokemon, and it easily took the title of Ash's Unova Ace. So yeah, it absolutely deserves to be here as a sort of honorable mention / substitute. But the first Pokemon of the actual team is Ash's Dragonite. Probably a bit of a shock, but hear me out. Ash has a lot of flying type Pokemon, ones that for sure are strong, but if we're looking at no bias and objective power scaling, this Pokemon scales way higher than most of them. She was able to take on several high-ranking trainers during the World Coronation series, including Pokemon from Cynthia and Leon's teams. Let's also not forget she took on Iris's Haxorus and beat it, a champion-level Pokemon. I don't even like Journeys, and I think it would be a waste not to include this lovable dragon.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Next up is Ash's Lycanroc. Now, I don't think this is a surprise to anyone, as Lycanroc is commonly called Ash's best Alolan Mon alongside Incineroar. However, Lycanroc has the edge simply due to the fact that this was the Pokemon that won Ash his first ever league, taking down Gladiol's Midnight form with the counter-on-counter strategy. Not to mention its exclusive Z move, Splintered Storm Shards, an absolute powerhouse of an attack.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Taking up the 4th spot on this list is a Pokemon that whether you love or hate, 100% is here. Lucario. Now I could go on and on about how I don't like how this Pokemon was written, but in terms of pure strength, very few other Ashmons have this guy beat. He's got Aura, he's got Mega Evolution, and on top of that, he's taken on some insane opponents, like Raihan's G-Max Duraludon in base form and Cynthia's freaking Garchomp. Yeah, that Garchomp. So, like it or not, this guy is on here, and he's not even close to leaving. Now, it's time to talk about the 2 starter Pokemon I selected for this list. I won't lie, this wasn't easy, as all of Ash's starters are pretty good in their own right. And first up is Infernape. Now, I decided to go with him over Charizard for 2 reasons. First of all, Dragonite could cover the air, and Charizard's main advantage over Infernape is the fact that it can fly while Infernape cannot. So yeah, that's the first reason. And second, while Charizard has taken on legendary Pokemon, Infernape's Blaze ability may come more in handy during a competitive setting. We've seen plenty of times just how strong this ability is, and could be the key factor which gives Ash a win. Not to mention this dude is one of the best stories out there, and I don't think I could bring myself to not include him. And now, the final Pokemon on this list is Oshawott, you knew my glorious king had to be here.
Stop it. Get some help.
Nah, I'm just kidding. It's Greninja. This dude is broken. The Bond phenomenon elevates Greninja to a level of incredible speed and strength, almost taking down Alon's Charizard, who mind you was boosted up with Mega Evolution Juice from the accumulated Infinity Energy stored inside Alon's Mega Bracelet. Not to mention, he's helped save the world against the Megalith Zygarde, being durable enough to withstand a ton of its attacks. This man is busted, and that giant water shuriken packs a punch. So yeah, we got a great arsenal here. Lycanroc, Lucario, Pikachu, and Greninja all have insanely powerful gimmicks that can increase a chance of victory. Dragonite is an aerial mon that hits incredibly hard, and is also quite tanky, which is good for defense. Finally, Infernape and Crocodile are a great offensive force to use, with Crocodile having an insanely versatile moveset, and Infernape being a great last resort due to its Blaze ability. And that is my pick for Ash's best team. To enjoy more peak Pokemon content, check out these videos on screen right now.